Good morning, good evening, everybody. My name is Samarth Narayan. I'm a product manager in the Business Objects product team at Bangalore. My primary focus is on the installation experience, deployments, whether it's on on-premise, cloud, or virtualization related setups. And also I look at cloud topics such as Business Objects Cloud. My session today is going to be on some of the enhancements that we have in a few topic areas, primarily the installer, which is the BI platform installer, the upgrade management tool, and some webby enhancements. I'll take you through my presentation and focus on each of these in terms of a feature overview and what it has in store for you. Let me mention a point here that these are some of the enhancements that have come in as a part of our Business Objects BI 4.2 release. Some of them are available from the Service Pack 2. And some of the features are available in the Service Pack 3. I shall be letting you know what is available in what Service Pack as we go ahead in this presentation. Before I start, a legal disclaimer on some of the forward-looking statements and some vision-related comments that I'll be making. It is subject to changing market conditions. Might be said here. Is subject to the terms and conditions of SAP. The agenda, as I told you, is the following. So I'll be talking about some of the enhancements in three topic areas: BI platform installer, the upgrade management tool, which is used for migration from a 3.x release to a 4.x release, and some web intelligence related features, as well as key feature on the BI platform. So I have split up the agenda as follows, and I shall be taking you through it. So let me start with Business Objects BI platform installer enhancements. I have a couple of features which I'll be talking about today. The first one is the phase-wise installation enhancements, and the second one is web applications deploy later feature. So before I go to both of these features, I would first like to introduce you to some of the themes and objectives that we have in case of the BI platform installer and in general the installation of the Business Object Suite. So we resolved to achieve a few objectives as a part of our product enhancements, and these objectives are to get the BI platform installation go faster, to make it smarter, more simpler, and make it as consumeric as possible. In terms of each of these themes, we have a whole lot of ideas that we have in mind, and there are specific features that are rolling up to each of these themes. For example, in case of faster, we would want to make it, we want to reduce the downtime as much as possible so that there is no production stoppage because of installation, or bring it to as minimum as possible. Reduce the install time so that you would not have to wait too much to get to your new releases. The maintenance cycles will be simpler. In case of making it smarter, we would want to bring in as many intelligence in the installer so that it performs some of the actions without you having to worry about it. In making it simple, we would want to make it more guided, consistent, and less cumbersome so that a lot of things are well understood rather than you would have to go anywhere to figure it out. And finally, in consumeric, we would want to make the BI platform installer so there aren't any more subject matter slides before this, so I would be continuing with this as the first slide. So this is the slide I was on, and these were the themes I was talking to you about in terms of making the BI platform installer better than whatever it is today. So this is what we work with, and the next few features that you are seeing in this direction are also few things that make the entire installation experience better. And on to the next slide. So the first feature I'm going to talk about in the case of installer is the BI installer phase-wise feature. So this is a key feature which would really help you to plan your production downtime. So basically with this feature, what we are doing is the installation is split into two phases. So it has been rolled out in a couple of stages. So for Windows, it is available from the 4.2 Service Pack 2, and for Unix, it is available from the Service Pack 3. So the two phases that I'm talking about in the installation are caching and the resuming of the installation phases. So basically, we start with the BI platform installation. You have the option of performing a phase called caching first. So the caching is a process where the software files that are required for the installation are copied to the installation directory. This phase is relatively simpler, and it does not require you to bring down your production system. Due to this reason, you are able to continue working on the system without interruptions. So that helps in eliminating the downtime. So once you perform caching, your phase 1 is completed. The next phase is resume installation. So whenever a production downtime is available, that's when you can resume installation. So you need to go back and resume installation and click on your setup file by which the installation progresses. The installer is intelligent enough to understand that the caching phase has already been performed, and it will directly take you to the resume installation phase. And once you resume installation, that's when your downtime comes into picture, and that's where you would have to announce production downtime. So by splitting the whole installation into two steps, that is caching and installation, we are effectively bringing down the overall install time, and also the overall we are also kind of eliminating the need for a downtime during the caching phase. So the savings that we have seen based on our benchmark tests have shown that on an upgrade from 4.1 SP5 or SP6 to 4.2 requires nearly 30% lesser downtime. So that is a significant advantage that this feature brings to you. To explain this feature in more detail, it is available in two modes for you to explore. One is the graphical user interface mode, which you can see on your screens once you launch the setup of the BI platform installer. So you would see a screen as follows, and it would bring you to this particular user interface where you are asked for whether you would like to proceed with the standard installation or phase-wise installation. Relevant information is provided there about the phase-wise installation for you to make a choice. So this is the GUI mode for phase-wise installation. Alternatively, there is also a command line mode in the case of silent installations. To aid silent installations, there is a command line mode which is also provided, and through this you can launch the setup.exe from the command line and provide a few parameters as mentioned in the slide. So once you launch it for the first time, the caching phase will first be performed, and later you can resume installation once again from the command line using the parameters setup.exe and resume after cache and providing the response.ini file location. So this is available. The command line option is available from the Service Pack 2, and the GUI mode which I showed you is available from the Service Pack 3. So this feature is available for both Windows and Linux-based installations, and it is one feature that is going to significantly reduce the amount of time you would have to announce as downtime. So that is the key benefit that it is bringing here, and it rolls into the theme of faster, which I was talking earlier about. It makes the entire installation experience faster. I would now come to the next feature, which is Web Applications Deploy Later feature. So there is, in case of multi-package deployments, particularly when there are add-ons involved, we have noticed that there are a few operations that happens automatically. So one of them is if you have a default bundle Tomcat which you're using, when you're installing the BI platform server and the add-ons like LS for BIP or Explorer, then in each add-on installation, the Tomcat gets uninstalled and reinstalled. So this is something that that used to happen automatically in the installer, and this was felt as something that is unnecessarily taking additional time and hence leading to more downtime during installation. This is something that we noted in a whole lot of customer scenarios, and a lot of customers wrote to us regarding this. So this is something that the team took up as a problem, and to overcome this is what we provide the feature Web Applications Deploy Later. This is a feature provided from 4.2 Service Pack 3. So what happens with this is that the installation through the setup.exe, the installer identifies if default Tomcat is present or not. Depending upon this, it will show you the screen that you can see. So this screen, which is Web Application Deployment screen, gives you options to deploy web applications now or later. So to use this feature, you would have to choose Web Applications Deploy Later, so that whole BI platform plus add-on installation is smoother. So what happens once you choose Web Applications Deploy Later is that only the content gets updated in the source location, and the default Tomcat is not deployed. So basically, when you're doing your last add-on installation, that is when you deploy your web applications, and that's when you choose Web Applications Deploy Now. In a typical scenario, if I have to explain this, let's say you have a BI platform and the Explorer add-on. So when you're installing both of them in series, then you would have to first install BI platform, for which you go through the setup.exe. So this is where you would get the Web Applications deployment window, where you would be asked to deploy web applications now or later. You can choose to deploy web applications later, since you have an Explorer add-on after this. So at this stage, only the content gets updated in the installation folders, and default Tomcat is not deployed. After your BI platform installation, you could go and check and the CMC, and you would see that you would get an error that the Tomcat is not deployed. So after this, you would next have to click on the Explorer setup, and that's when you would again get the screen that is web applications deployed now or later. Since you have already chosen later for the first installation, and this is your last add-on, you can now choose deploy web applications now, by which your Tomcat gets deployed, and your web applications also get deployed, and your installation at the end of it gets successful. So in this case, you might ask me a question: what happens if I choose web applications, deploy web applications later option for the last add-on? So in that case, you can anyways go back to your wdeploy tool, and you can deploy the web applications separately. So this is the feature in its full working, and it significantly reduces the install time because you're suppressing the automatic deployment of web applications in case of multiple installations, and this is bound to improve your installation experience. So that is the next feature that I was going to talk to you about. And before I move out of install related enhancements, I just wanted to show you one other enhancement that we have brought in BI 4.2. So earlier, when you used to launch the BI platform installer setup, it would take nearly 20 minutes to launch the installation for at least the splash screen to launch and for you to see that something is happening. With BI 4.2, we have done some optimizations. We brought in some smart algorithms, and because of this, we are able to launch the entire installation process and the splash screen within 3 to 5 minutes from the time the setup is launched. So this nearly brings 80% savings in time for you, and this is something that is going to help you whenever you choose to upgrade from your existing version to BI 4.2. So I thought I'll take this opportunity to talk to you about this as well. So I now move on to the next topic, which is the upgrade management tool, and I'm going to talk to you about a few enhancements in the upgrade management tool. Just to give you an introduction, upgrade management tool is key for your migration from a 3.x release or a release earlier than 3.x to the new version, be it 4.1 or 4.2. It helps you migrate all your content that you have in the form of user accounts, groups, folders, universes, security, and other objects to bring it to the newer version. The diagram over there shows you what are the options that you have if you're on an earlier version, and if you have to move to a 4.x version, in this case 4.2. So basically, if you're on an enterprise XR2 version or X1R2 version, or a Crystal Enterprise 9.10 or Business Objects 5 or 6, you would have to come to the Enterprise XI-R2 SP2 version, and then there is a path for you to move to 4.2. While you are while that is one mode of migration, there's also another mode where if you're in a 3.x version, that is Enterprise XI 3.1 version, you can upgrade to 4.2 version and use the upgrade management tool. And just to refresh, while you're moving between versions, that is 4.1 to 4.2, you can very well use the promotion management tool. So this is just as a basic understanding of what upgrade management tool is and what are your options for upgrade when you are on earlier versions of Business Objects. So when it comes to upgrade management tool, it is relatively simple tool which brings to you a lot of advantages of migrating your objects from an older version, older major version to a newer major version. So when I call a major version, it is 3.x to a 4.x movement. So the first feature I'm going to talk about is specifying the log level in the upgrade management tool UI. So this is one of the enhancements that has been brought into the upgrade management tool with the BI 4.2 version. So now you can specify a log level while you are upgrading your objects. You can choose between default, low, medium, and high. And you can also see what is the log location of the file by looking by the log location provided there. So this helps you to specify a certain level of log so that you can use for further analysis. And we have often seen that it is very important for administrators to have this. So this is one key feature which has been brought into the upgrade management tool. And on to the next feature. So this feature is provided for object selection in the upgrade management tool screen. So when you when you specify your log level and move on to the next screens, there is a filter option provided for you to look at various combinations of objects to be migrated. The various combinations can be specified based on time parameter by which you can look at objects migrated between a certain date to a certain date. You can also look at an object type as a parameter and look at only a certain amount of object types which have to be taken further. And also it gives you an option to look at only objects which are not migrated. So all the objects which are already migrated is kept out of this operation, and you can only take objects which are not migrated ahead. So these features were felt very needful to administrators to make the right choices in taking the objects ahead and migrating them to the new version. So these are the filter options provided, and I think depending upon the scenario in various customer situations, each one of them become very handy. Especially if it's an upgrade that has been performed and some objects from the time of upgrade migration have been modified, then the date field becomes very handy there in terms of specifying the date ranges between which an object might have been modified and then migrating it to the newer version. So that was just an example, and there are many more scenarios like this where each one of these filter options are useful to administrators when they're migrating objects. So this was one other feature that was gotten as a part of BI 4.2 version. And the third feature that I would talk about in upgrade management tool is export pending instances feature. So this brings an additional level of control on the migration of your objects. So there are cases where there are some instances of an object which are not migrated, and you would have to look at the ones which are not and then export only them. So this particular feature will be very handy there. There's also an option to not migrate security, which is also part of it, and of course the approximate size of selected content is something which can also be seen. This might be a very small feature, but it is very handy in terms of knowing what is the size of the objects that you're trying to migrate. So these set of features give you additional control of your migration workflow and let you understand and let you control the finer aspects of migration. We understand moving from a major version to another higher major version is a big activity in enterprises, and we are looking at options to be provided which makes this journey simpler for enterprises. So these are some of them in terms of upgrade management tool, and the tools and services product team keeps working on several other features to make this particular workflow better. So that is in terms of the upgrade management tool. I would now go on to the next feature, which is server group exclusivity, which is introduced in BI 4.2, and to talk to your features. So as you know, the servers are the heavy lifters, as they say, in terms of executing various requests from users and a lot of background operations. So there are various different ways in which BI platform administrators work with servers and look at using them for various operations, whether it is scheduling content or assigning users, user groups, and several other things. So when it comes to scheduling content types, you look at various kinds of documents for various users at various intervals. So when it is required to be a scheduling request for a certain user group where it is extremely critical and important, that is when BI administrators typically feel the need for having some servers allocated exclusively for such requests. So this is something that was felt as a need, which was not present in the earlier versions, and that is where there was an opportunity for an enhancement. So what came as a part of BI 4.2 was creating a exclusive server group. So the way this feature helps is that a BI platform administrator can now create an exclusive server group and add a few servers to it. And when a certain document has to be to reach certain users on priority, for example, if the CEO's team needs some reports for the daily progress meetings that they have with the CEO, then the reports that need to reach this team would get an exclusive server group with some servers added only to this group, so that all the requests, all the document scheduling goes to these servers. They are processed on priority and then sent to the CEO's team. So the option of creating such an exclusive server group was not present in the past, and that is the powerful feature that has been brought in as a part of BI 4.2. So if you look at my slide earlier, once you create an exclusive group, you can use only servers in that selected group. So your exclusive server group would come here, and you can give the scheduling request only to servers in that selected group, just to make sure that your request is handled on priority and the document reaches the required users. So while creating a new server group, the servers that are put in the exclusive group are excluded or isolated from the general pool of the BI system. And the servers which are added to an exclusive server group available to be added for any other group within the BI system. And hence, this is what, and this kind of exclusivity or this kind of isolation is what makes the feature what it is. There are also options if to release servers from a server group, mark a feature to mark a server group exclusive server if required. So these are some additional associated features with this particular functionality. So you can create a server group which is exclusive, add servers to that group, remove servers, and also mark a exclusive server group non-exclusive. So these are some of the things that a BI platform administrator can do, which will be of great advantage in case of critical workflows where documents have to reach some users on priority. So I will come to the next feature, which is related to web intelligence. It's about It's about parallel queries. So this is another feature which is very key to the performance of the web intelligence queries. When we look at webby queries in cases where there are multiple data providers, in the past or in versions before 4.2, the queries used to run in parallel based on their serial order, and the second query used to get executed only after the first query is completed. So like in any series execution, the problem was that it was taking a lot of time. The enhancement that was brought to this is that the queries that are running in case of multiple data providers can now be run in parallel. That means all the queries can start at the same time, and there is a thread that is managing the parallel execution, and the thread is updated every time a certain query is performed and executed. So this makes it very powerful and brings down the overall execution time. Using this, a lot of parallel activities on DB at execution and data fetch can happen automatically. It is supported on a whole lot of data providers such as Universe, Universe in terms of UNX and UNV, SAP HANA, Direct Access, SAP BW, FH, SQL, and text files. And it is supported in all the Webby related clients, that is REST SDK, Scheduler, Rich Client, HTML, and Applet. So recently in SP3, this was introduced to BEX queries as well. So irrespective of what your data provider is, there are ways to optimize the execution of web intelligence queries by parallelization, and this is what brings a whole lot of advantage in terms of performance. However, one needs to understand that the total refresh duration will depend upon the underlying hardware, network overload, and database configuration. There are of course some limitations in terms of this not being available for some data providers based on analysis views and Excel files, and in case of each of those connections, there is a restriction in terms of number of queries. At least for relational and OLAP connection, there are some restrictions, but otherwise, this is something that should bring significant performance advantage to users. There are ways in which you can control the number of parallel queries for this particular feature. So there are two modes in which this can be done. It can be done through configuration files, or it can be done in CMC also. So through configuration files, this was first rolled out as a part of Service Pack 2 and above. So you would have a few files, as mentioned, which are XML files, which is Webby container underscore client descriptor file and Webby container underscore server descriptor file. This is for Webby rich client and DOE server. So if you look at Webby max max concurrent refresh jobs as the parameter, then there is a value which can be set to whatever value that suits your system and your scenarios. So this is how you would configure the maximum number of concurrent data refresh jobs through configuration files. And with BI 4.2 SP3, the number of parallel queries can be set through Universe Design Tool and CMC, Central Management Console, as well as Information Design Tool. So there is a parameter called max parallel queries per connection parameter, and this is what can be set in order to limit the maximum number of queries per connection. So this is an associated feature with the parallel queries feature for you to have control on what are the number of queries that are running in parallel depending upon your system conditions. So then this in essence is about parallel queries feature of Web Intelligence and how you can optimize the running of queries based on multiple data providers by making it parallel and having additional performance. So Enhancement is going to talk about some publication rules which have been improved to give more control on what you're doing in terms of publications. With BI 4.2 SP3, there are options for you to impose some rules while you're doing your publications. So in several cases, we have seen that the documents which are published do not have content or they are not fully refreshed. So even in those cases, the publication runs, which is actually use of resources with no intended outcome, which is helpful. So in order to control or restrict such cases, some publication rules have been brought in. So there are options to not send the publication if the scheduled content has no data. Another rule that is there is to not send the publication if scheduled content has not been fully refreshed. So essentially what you're doing is preventing publishing empty or non-meaningful documents, and this is important for a BI platform administrator to kind of have control over what content is published. In case the publication has several documents and there is a scenario where some documents meet these rules and some do not meet these rules, then there are options provided you to cancel the whole publication or possibly deliver only those documents which have met the rules. So you can impose, that is essentially what you see in the screen. So there is a rule provided to deliver individual document when condition met and or deliver all documents only when all conditions are met. So this is something which gives you additional control on publication of documents when a bulk of documents are being worked on, and that puts you in higher control. So this is another feature which is handy. So this essentially brings me to the end of my session where I have tried to provide you some tenets of what enhancements have been made in some topic areas considered for today. That is BI Platform Installer, Upgrade Management Tool, BI Platform Server Exclusivity, Exclusive Server Group, and a couple of web enhancements. Likewise, there are a whole lot of interesting enhancements in the BI platform. You could explore that in BI 4.2 SP3. What's new documentation. Our help page has been revamped, and there is a whole new way in which you can look at all these help documents. For each of the features that I spoke to you about, there are some resources for you to look at in terms of videos and blogs, which can help you explain the feature in detail, along with examples and other scenarios that are important to that enhancement. So I would leave you with these resources and links, and would thank you for the opportunity for me to talk to you and provide you an overview about all these enhancements and about what it looks like in the future in terms of our commitment to make upgrades as smooth as possible. So you can reach out to me outside of this for any queries, and I can respond to them as well. So my contact information is as follows. ID, my SAP ID is very simple, samarth.narayan@sap.com. I haven't mentioned here, but that's where you can reach me.
I can definitely give you all the resources that he presented today. So feel free again to reach out to me at heather.doe@sap.com. So I hope everybody have a great day, and see you guys all online very soon again. Thanks, Amar.